everyone. As you already know, we've been working on our natural disaster research project. And so we researched a natural disaster of our choice, and we are now taking our research notes and we are putting them into a Google slide presentation. And then once you're finished with that, you get to start designing your school building that would withstand the natural disaster that you are researching. For today's flipped video, I am going to use Luke's school building design that is made to be a tsunami-proof school building. And Luke inserted this picture by clicking Insert, Image, and scrolling down to the camera option and taking a selfie with his school building design. Once you insert your picture, this is where you're going to start creating your diagram. And we are going to use the features on Google Slides to help us with that diagram. And so the first thing I'm going to do is make sure everything is centered by using the red lines that pop up when we move images or things around on a Google slide. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a text box, and I'm going to insert a text box maybe at the bottom here. And I'm going to fill it in. So notice when I went to the fill color up here, here's my text box. If I hover over an icon, it actually says fill color. That helps me find the different tools that I need in a Google slide presentation. So I'm going to make it white. And in this Google slide presentation, I am going to write tsunami proof school building, keeping students and staff safe. Just to kind of give it some kind of title or caption at the bottom right there. Notice the next step that I did was I highlighted the text. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because I want to align the text in the middle of the text box. Right now, it's aligned to the left-hand side. So I'm going to hover over the icon that says align, and I'm going to align the words. And just because when Ms. Potts makes a Google slide presentation, I like to kind of keep things consistent with my font that I use. So I'm going to go up to the font and I'm going to change it to the exact font type that I have been using. And I think I'm going to make it red just to kind of stand out. And maybe I'll even make it a little bit larger. Maybe I'll make it italics just to kind of stand out too. And so notice what happened right here. See that right there? That's the bottom of the image. So I'm just going to scroll over and move my text box over. So what you have to do with your school building design on Google Slides is you have to make a diagram so that we can see what you're pointing to and the exact materials and ideas that you had for your school building. So the first thing that you want to do after you put some kind of caption or title is start inserting an arrow. So I'm going to hover over shape and I'm going to take an arrow tool and I'm going to drag, let go. And then just because I like to make my arrows stand out a bit, I'm going to change the fill color and the border color. And I'm also going to change the border weight. That makes the outline of the arrow thicker. So right here, I am pointing to the titanium walls that Luke has designed for his school building. And next to that arrow, I am going to insert a text box. And so in this text box, I'm going to describe what it's pointing to. Titanium walls for the building, one of the most durable metals on the planet. And so again, Spots is going to highlight the text, align it in the middle. I'm actually going to move my text over a little bit so that it's closer to the arrow. You want to make sure that it's very clear what is being labeled in your diagram. And then I'm going to highlight the text again, and I'm going to change the font just to keep things consistent. Okay, so I just labeled one part of Luke's school building design. So I'm going to keep doing this. And I want to give you a major tip right now with using Google Slides. Instead of every single time going back to the shape tool and making an arrow, I'm actually going to take the arrow that I already made. I'm going to copy it by clicking Control C and then paste by Control V. And then that way I could just move the arrow down, and I also can hover over this little circle here and move the degree of the arrow like that. And I can do the same thing for the text box. I'm going to copy the text box, paste it, bring it down, and then I'm going to label this. And there you go. We're going to keep doing this for every single material or part of your school building. You're really going to describe it by creating this diagram. And so here is kind of like a finished school building design diagram using Luke's Tsunami Proof School Building Blueprint.